Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Today students, we're looking at an IELTS reading passage about the world's tallest buildings. Students, this lesson, these materials are taken from our websites that we use to power these live classes, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. To get the most out of these live classes, especially if you are joining regularly, please definitely visit these websites. aehelp.com looks like this with the blue background. Click this big red button that's just above my head there to join the Premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS Test Registration Center. I'm a certified British Council agent. We help thousands of students. We are world leaders when it comes to online IELTS exam preparation. For the general IELTS, check out gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Click this big red button here. Again, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. When you click that button, you can enter this code PUBLIC9 for a 10% discount off the full price to help you a bit more. The cost is different in different countries. We try to make the course available for as many people as possible, so we adjust the prices to local economies. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. You will see Carolina in blue in the chat. You can ask Carolina some questions as well. And welcome Anna, Redexar, Karem. Nice to see many members. Riyadh, Shamima. Shamima, this is a perfect class for you to attend to help you improve with reading. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Students, you can also buy our courses through YouTube by clicking on Shopping, Shopify, and you can use the code PUBLIC9 for a 10% discount there as well. If you purchase through Shopify, and if you have any questions, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and if you purchase through Shopify, activate your premium version of the course. Our apps that link to the websites are Academic IELTS Help. You can download that from your app store, link it to aehelp.com. General IELTS Help, you can also download from your app store for General IELTS and link that to gieltshelp.com. Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp or gielts help for vocabulary and schedules. And we've got lots of great content for you for reading. Here's a blog of ours. This blog is for some reading tips. There it is in the chat right now. Students, we are going to be using Zoom as well in this class to interact and have students read. So this is an interactive course, interactive class. Please ask questions in the chat and volunteer later on for reading and interacting with me. Okay, everybody, so right now we'll begin our reading in just a minute, and then we will have speaking part 1 class for everybody tomorrow. You will have a chance to try your speaking to get an estimate of your IELTS speaking level. Then on Friday, we'll have reading for members. We'll have listening part 1 and 2. We'll look at one of our listening exams from the websites. That's for subscribers for the YouTube channel, so you can join the chat if you subscribe. It's free to subscribe, so it's a really good idea. You'll also get notifications of these live classes, so just hit the subscribe button, allow the notifications, and you'll know when these live IELTS classes are happening. We'll do more classes on Saturday. We will be looking at speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. While we're making some updates to our website's speaking interactive parts, we are using Zoom for those classes. We have a video available for you, The Power of Public Speaking and its utility in the IELTS exam. Check that out when you have a moment. There you are. Okay, everybody, let's get into some reading strategies. Today we'll look at list of headings. And we'll talk about some strategies. We'll get right into the reading. This reading passage is titled Battle for the world's tallest buildings. Now, in the IELTS, for the academic, you have 3 passages. Each one is about a page and a half long, about 650 to 800 words. And you will have a very similar passage for General IELTS Section 3. Section 1 and 2 are different. There are 11 different types of questions that you might see in the reading section. You will see about 6-7 different types of the 11 in any given IELTS exam. This one includes this list of headings question. It's the only one that is given to you before the passage. All of the other question types will come after the passage, like this yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given, or this multiple choice. So today it's kind of the 3 most challenging ones. It's the ones where students seem to have the most difficulty. So list of headings, true, false, not given, or also yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given, true, false, not given, basically the same. Okay. And then multiple choice. Now, this type or these types of questions demand that you read the passage. Yes, skimming and scanning will help you a little bit, but they will not be the main strategy to help you get a band 6.5 or higher, especially not on the academic IELTS exam. All right, so we'll look at strategies for each of these, and my goal is to cover the entire reading passage and all of these questions in this class, so bear with me, pay attention. If you lose your place, just ask your peers, ask me in the chat. All right, students, let's take a look. List of headings. Questions you need to read before the passage, simply because they're given to you before the passage. The reason the exam does this is because they think that you should read these before the passage. These are basically the topics that are discussed in the passage, so it's good to have an idea of what could be in the passage. And what you want to do is read them. Of course, try to understand them as much as possible. If you don't understand some of the words or headings right away, it's not a problem. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Don't be like, I don't know these words. I don't know what's going on. That's definitely not going to help you. Panic and fear are your worst enemies in any given situation, whether it's a boxing match or the IELTS exam. Panicking, getting scared, freaking out is a sure way to start losing scores. So don't panic. It's totally fine if you don't understand some of the words, okay? All right. So when you look at these questions, these list of headings questions, before you read them, always read the title, okay? The title should always be the very, very first element that you read, because that will give you an idea of the entire passage. Here it's Battle for the World's Tallest Building. Now you have to ask yourself, what does that mean? Okay, so read the title and infer the information. Here the title is Battle for the World's Tallest Building. Okay. What does that mean? So you have to think, what does that mean for me? What is the author saying by this? Okay. Give me some ideas, students. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at what you're thinking. Welcome, Juan. Hi, Jasampreet. Nice to see more of you coming in. What does that mean? Somebody said struggle. I don't think it means struggle. I think battle here means competition. I don't think it means struggle. I can't read the Cyrillic name, but I don't think they mean struggle by the word battle. I mean competition. Alexander said kind of like being proud or proudness. Vishal means the Burj Khalifa. Okay. Jasampreet says building owners. It's more developers than building owners, Jasampreet, I would say. So competition to create the biggest or highest buildings on the planet. Okay? Yeah, so if you're kind of thinking along these lines, you're on the right page. Okay, now when you're thinking about the title, always go to the next question of why. Super important. I am getting over a flu or a cold, everybody, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit here in this class. So why? Why have this competition? What does it prove? And I think, Alexander, this is where your answer comes in. So I think, Alexander, you were answering the why question before the what question. Pride, for sure, would be an answer, saying, hey, we did it. We're number one. Right? Prestige, sure. But would people really spend billions of dollars just for pride and prestige? Maybe. But I don't think it's just pride and prestige. Fame, fortune, those are all part of it, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, Delafru says to attract tourists. And make money. Absolutely. Pride, prestige, probably wouldn't do it if there's no money involved. So attracting tourists and making money. Miss you, very good. Yes, technology. Right, so building these incredible buildings requires technology, engineering. So it's a feat of technology and engineering, right? And then you might even want to ask the how question, right? How? Better materials, better engineering. Sure. So ideally, in a perfect world, when you're reading, you think very quickly about these ideas as you read the title. So in the real exam, if I'm sitting the real exam, basically I flip to this reading passage and I go, okay, battle for the world's tallest buildings. All right, people are competing, past, present, also probably in the future, to create these really high buildings, skyscrapers, 200 stories, Burj Khalifa type buildings, for pride, to show the economic power of a country, for innovation, for technology. Some of the tallest buildings, some examples would be like ancient ones, pyramids, Empire State Building in the US, of course, Tokyo World Trade Center. So I'm thinking of the examples of some really tall or high buildings. As a Canadian, I have to mention CN Tower in Toronto, of course. And so I'm thinking about this, and I'm getting all these ideas. And while I'm doing that, students, so let's not forget a very important strategy, especially for this kind of content. A powerful strategy that you must use is visualization. How many of you have been or have visited some of these really high buildings? I haven't visited the Burj Khalifa, but I've definitely visited some high buildings. One that I visited was the Osaka World Trade Center in Japan, and that's an incredibly high building as well, and quite stunning when I'm up at the top of it. So I'm kind of seeing myself in that moment when I visited the Osaka World Trade Center. It was probably one of the highest buildings that I've been in. So a powerful strategy that you have to use is you have to visualize. You have to see the content, okay? It will be way better, okay? Which buildings have you been in? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Jasampreet says, I visited the Qutub Minar in India. Okay. Miss You says Taipei 101. My friends have visited that place, Miss You, and I've seen a lot of pictures of Taipei 101. Yeah, it's got that really fancy restaurant in the top. The Ritz-Carlton, I think. The Ritz-Carlton restaurant is at the top of, is it Taipei 101, right? Good. All right. So now you're with me. Now you're visualizing. So I definitely, would see myself in these incredibly tall buildings. The CN Tower here in Toronto looks something like this. And you can kind of see yourself standing on top of it. Woohoo. Okay. Seeing the passage means that you engage the passage. One of the most common complaints that I hear from IELTS candidates is, I read the passage, I understood the passage, and I forgot the information in the passage when I was answering questions. Okay, so one way to avoid that is to actually visualize. So to be in the passage, okay, to become a part of the information. Jasampreet says, indeed. All right, everybody. So now let's read these list of headings questions. So let's go over them. Read them with me. A controversial designation, debatable title. Okay. So while I'm reading these, I'm kind of paraphrasing these. The Industrial Revolution, the age of factories. Okay. Buildings in space. Structures in outer space. Fast and impressive, quick and amazing. Okay, the reign of churches, the rule of cathedrals. The Strasbourg Cathedral, that I can't really paraphrase, it's a name, so I'm just going to keep it the same. The Strasbourg Cathedral, a part of human history. A piece of our past. Technology, logistics, and engineering. Tech, math, and architecture, something like that. The industrial acceleration. Speeding or speed up of technology. Okay, so you're going like, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? I'm basically giving myself a way to better understand these list of headings, to think about them in different ways, because the IELTS exam paraphrases these. So a lot of students, they try to do skimming and scanning for keywords. One reason that doesn't work is because they don't use the same words. So in the paragraph that might have this title, a controversial designation, you might not see any of those words in the paragraph. So if you're trying to find or skim read for the word controversial, you won't see it. But you might see the word debate, and even if you don't, now you clearly know what that topic should be, right? So that's kind of what you're looking at. And I can see that some of you are paraphrasing in the chat, which is really good. Mohibur says ancient history. Indeed. Okay. So, I do respect that you only have 20 minutes to read the passage and answer the questions. So you need the right strategies and you need to be fast. For a list of headings, yes, no, not given, don't look at the questions. Don't bother with them because you don't know which ones are given or which ones are false. They're paraphrased, so it really won't help you to read these. Okay, if anything, they might even confuse you and you'll get even more of them wrong. So with that, don't read it. There you have to have your own ideas before you answer. Okay. And then with multiple choice, you only read the question because 3 of the 4 choices are wrong. So why read all those wrong choices? There's a good chance you'll never have to read them. If you know the right answer and it's A, you might not have to read B, C, D, E, although it is a good idea. I'll tell you why. Okay, so for multiple choice at the beginning, all you want to do is just read the statement to get a better idea, because that will be in the passage. The answer will be in the passage, right? So what was the world's tallest building in 1960? Okay, I might be able to do a little bit of searching for this, but I won't do that now. I will do that at the end. Okay. 12. What, according to some commentators, is the difference between buildings and structures? Okay, so now I get a good piece of hint here, or a good hint, that there will be some information about buildings and structures. And if I'm really thinking cleverly, buildings and structures, I might even connect it with this list of heading. A controversial designation, a debatable title. So whether a building is a structure or an actual building. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So getting some good ideas here. And then which statements best summarizes the message of the passage? This multiple choice question tells me a very important tip, or reminds me of a very important tip. And this is the first passage in this exam 6, so it's a really good time to get this tip if this were your official exam. What does this tell me? And you see these multiple choice questions often where it says, like, what is the main aim of the passage? In this case, which statement best summarizes the message of the passage? This one tells you that you need to read the whole passage, okay? It's hard to figure out the message of the passage if you're just skim reading or jumping around. So this kind of passage, it would be a disaster to try to just skim read or scan for questions, because these question types are not efficient for skimming and scanning. And there are a lot of questions that require a global or a whole understanding of this passage, everybody. Again, this is coming from our websites, from our practice exams. This is the 6th exam, and it is reading passage 1. So for those of you who have it, it's CD6 track 5. For those of you who don't have it, don't worry. I'm going to play the audio right now. So we're going to read this reading passage together with the British reader on our website. So I'm going to jump back to aehelp.com. Again, for those of you who are like, hey, this is great, and it only cost me like 30, 40, 50 bucks. I want to buy it. Click the red button that's there on aehelp.com. And then you go to your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you have computer-based practice exams. You have a full online interactive course. And here you have your audio CDs. Now we're going to go to CD 6, track 5 for this reading passage. Everybody get ready to read. Here we go.
Battle for the world's tallest building. The desire to construct taller and taller structures has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years. Dating back to ancient Egypt and through to modern day, the construction of tall structures has mirrored advances in technology, logistics and engineering. Today, the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and points of civic and national pride for residents. Ancient Egyptians believed that to be closer to the sky was to be closer to the realm of the gods and afterlife. While regular Egyptians had to settle for burial in the ground, the pharaohs got to be entombed much closer to the sky in purpose-built pyramids, the world's first truly high structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built in approximately 2560 BCE for the burial of the pharaoh Khufu. Reaching a height of 481 feet at the time of construction, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. It wasn't until the year 1311 CE and the construction of the Lincoln Cathedral in England that the height of the Great Pyramid was surpassed. At 525 feet, it was only slightly taller. Throughout the period from 1311 to 1880, the title of world's tallest building changed hands a number of times, through both destruction and construction. But each structure was a European church. Interestingly, the world's tallest building from 1647 to 1874 the Strasbourg Cathedral in France, was actually shorter than the original height of the Great Pyramid. Standing 469 feet, the cathedral was approximately 13 feet taller than the Great Pyramid's contemporary height, which had been reduced 35 feet from its original stature by erosion. 1884 marked the first time the world's tallest building stood in North America. The Washington Monument, standing 555 feet in Washington, D.C., is also the world's tallest obelisk and tallest all-stone structure. During this period, engineers and architects were reaping the fruits of the 19th century's Industrial Revolution, which led to accelerating advances in construction, engineering, and technology. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower was completed and stood as the world's tallest building at 986 feet for over 40 years. The designation of world's tallest building returned to the United States in 1932 with the construction of the 1,250-foot Empire State Building in New York City. One of the incredible architectural achievements of the 20th century. It was completed in just over a year, an astonishing pace. The first building in the world to boast over 100 stories, the Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest for 36 years. After domination by Egypt, Western Europe and the United States, 1975 saw Toronto, Canada's CN Tower steal away the designation of world's tallest with a height of 1,815 feet. Over a third of a mile high, the CN Tower was the world's tallest for 32 years. This designation is disputed by some academics, as they believe a building must be inhabited or be worked in order to count as a building. The CN Tower is neither worked in nor lived in, though it does have an observation deck. So while it was unambiguously the world's tallest structure during this period, opinions differ on whether it was the world's tallest building. 2007 clarified any debate there was concerning the designation. With the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, it became undoubtedly the world's tallest structure and building, standing 2,722 feet, precisely 50% higher than the CN Tower. The Burj Khalifa soars over half a mile into the sky. Where do we go from here? What heights will buildings of the future reach? Will we one day construct buildings that reach into space? While the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings may no longer be proximity to the gods, the desire to touch the sky with our creations remains.
All right, so these reading passages on the website with these audio for the reading are extremely useful for those of you getting ready for your IELTS exam. They help your fluency, they help your intonation, they help your speaking. I really, really strongly recommend using that audio while you're studying to help you improve in all aspects of your language. So again, remember, you can join the premium version by clicking that big red button and you'll get access to all of that audio practice exams and courses and so on, okay? All right, everybody. So we're going to answer these questions together and I'm going to show you how. And I'm going to get your help to do this. So this is going to be interactive. To do this, we're using Zoom right now. So I started a Zoom session, and I'm going to share the link with you in just a moment. For those of you who don't have Zoom, excuse me, here's the download link. So you can download, install Zoom. It might take a minute or two. And then use this link to enter the Zoom session. And then I'll get volunteers to read and help me answer these list of headings questions. So I've started up Zoom. And I'm sure there will be lots of people joining in just a second. I'll unmute myself there. Karem, I already see you in there. Great. Okay. And the camera I can't use in Zoom, but you can use your camera in Zoom if you're comfortable with that. I can't use it because I'm using it for YouTube. And as some of you may or may not know, you can only have your camera working on one piece of software at a time. Okay. So, and everybody, please do keep yourselves muted. So I will ask you to unmute when you're volunteering. Okay. Excuse me. All right. We've got about 10 or so people and more joining in. That's great. So what we're going to do here is get some volunteers to volunteer for reading. And then I'll show you the strategies and the steps to answer these questions accurately. Okay. All right. Okay, and in Zoom, let me just show you here. So in Zoom, if you would like to volunteer, you have a reactions button here. Okay. So in Zoom, if you would like to volunteer, and when you click that reaction button, there's a little thing called raise hand. So if you'd like to read, if you'd like to answer some of these questions, just raise your hand and then I can ask to unmute you. And then you can read, you can introduce yourself, you can read and practice, and then we can go through the steps of how to accurately and effectively answer these IELTS reading questions. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Any volunteers? Anybody want to begin? Just put up your hand, and then I know that you want to do a little bit of reading, interacting. Oh, I thought I saw somebody there raise their hand. There we go. SC, I think, is the first one. Okay, SC, do you want to unmute yourself and you can start?
Hello, sir.
Hi, SC. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What about you?
I'm getting over a flu, but I'm energetic. Thanks for asking.
Get well soon. Get well soon.
I'm on it. I'm eating my vitamins. All right. SC, can you remind me of your first name so I'm not calling you by your initials?
My first name is Sunny.
Sunny. Okay, Sunny. Let's do this. So I'll get you to do a bit of reading and I'll kind of guide you for this first question, okay? So what we'll do is read the title, read paragraph 1, and then I'll discuss with you how to solve the answer for the list of headings. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Sunny. So just read the title and paragraph A. You should see it in YouTube on the screen.
Okay. Battle for the world's tallest building. The desire to construct taller and taller structure has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years, dating back to ancient. I couldn't see.
Yeah, sorry.
Dating back to ancient Egypt and through the modern day, the construction of tall structures has mirrored advances in technology, logistics, and engineering. Today, the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and point of civic and national pride for residents.
Okay, great. So this is a very important paragraph, Sunny, because it's the introduction, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now the introduction for an essay has 3 parts. What are those 3 parts?
It's hook, background, and thesis.
Yeah, and we can see that here. So when you're looking at IELTS passages, you can usually dissect them, and I recommend everybody to do that when you're practicing. So look at the introductory paragraph and clearly identify what is the hook, what gets you interested in the reading, what is the background, and then what is the thesis. So here the hook is the desire to construct taller and taller structures has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years, right? So that would be the hook.
Yeah.
And then comes kind of the background and the thesis. Now, when you read this paragraph to figure out the list of headings, do you know what you should do, Sunny? Maybe you learned it from the course, maybe not.
Yeah.
What's your next step to figure out what heading this is?
The paraphrase the hook or use synonym.
Not quite, no. What you want to do, and this is the trick, so listen up everybody. So what you want to do is when you read a paragraph like this, you have to literally in your head ask yourself, what is this paragraph about? Okay, so you ask yourself, what is this paragraph about? Like, what is the main point of this paragraph? What do you think gives you that information? The hook, the background, or the thesis?
It's a hook.
No, the hook will not tell you what the topic is necessarily. What do you think will give you the best idea of what it's about?
Hook, it gives the information about the passage, own passage, what it is about.
Not necessarily. Sometimes the hook can be completely different than the what. This is a tricky question, Sunny, and this is why skimming scanning isn't all that effective, because the introduction and the conclusion, it's basically all of it. So you have to kind of understand the whole introduction and the whole conclusion. That's why sometimes if you're having difficulty in the IELTS exam figuring out the list of headings for the introduction, just skip it and go to paragraph B and then come back to it later at the end once you figured out all of the other ones. But in this case, we're going to stop here and figure it out. So just try to answer this for me as best as you can and as simple as you can. What is this paragraph about?
It's about constructing the taller building about in ancient history.
Not just, right? So I would say that's not correct because the last sentence, part of the thesis, says today the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and points of civic and national pride. So it doesn't talk about just about ancient history. It also talks about today. So that wouldn't be an accurate answer. And if you picked a title that said ancient history, you would probably get that wrong because it's not just that. It also includes the today. So what do you think it is? Try to take a second attempt here.
It's about the importance of the world's tallest buildings.
Very good. Now you see, it's always worth a couple of tries, right? I agree with you. That's much more accurate. So it's importance of the tallest buildings, past and present, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we could figure that out. Now here's the trick to list of headings questions and getting them correct quickly. The more accurate and the faster you are answering that question, what is this paragraph about, the better the chance that you're going to get that question correct. Okay, so now that we have this answer, the importance of tallest buildings past and present, that was really good, Sunny. That was a really good identification of what it's about, right? Because it says mirrors advances in technology, logistic, engineering, landmarks, tourism. So it's the importance, right? Those are the importances of the tallest buildings. So now you can see which list of heading matches the best what you're thinking. So can you read all of the possible answers for me, Sunny, and tell me which one matches this importance of the tallest buildings past and present?
Okay, a controversial designation, a debatable title. It is not the answer.
Yeah, don't worry about the paraphrasing. Just the given title. So don't worry about my paraphrasing. Okay.
Okay. The Industrial Revolution, buildings in space, fast and impressive. The raising of churches, the Strasbourg Cathedral, a part of human history, technology, logistics, and engineering. It is BIII.
Did you read them all?
The industrial acceleration.
Yeah.
Tall structures of ancient world and looking towards the future.
Okay, so which one do you think matches the closest?
It's number 8, I think.
Okay, so read number 8 for me.
Technology, logistics, and engineering.
Okay, technology, logistics, and engineering, does that encompass your entire paraphrase? So your entire paraphrase is importance of tallest buildings past and present. If we talk about technology, logistics, engineering, does that include all of what you thought this paragraph is about? Does it include landmarks, tourist attraction, points of civic pride, ancient Egypt?
Yeah.
I would disagree. So I would say that, and this is why you have to be really careful trying to match words with skim reading. So technology, logistics, and engineering, I think, is just part of your answer. I think it only covers this part of the paragraph. Okay, but the introduction is about more than just that. Okay, and this is why it's so easy to get these answers wrong. There's an answer there that actually covers all of this. Importance of tallest buildings, past and present. There's an answer there that's much more accurate to cover that whole thought that you had. Which one do you think it is?
It might be number 10, tall structure of ancient world.
Okay, so now you said tallest structure of the ancient world. Okay, does tallest structure of the ancient world cover today the world's tallest buildings are? Does it cover that part of the paragraph?
No, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't, right? So which one of these choices covers all of that information in the paragraph, in the introduction?
It must include past and present.
Which one of those includes past and present?
It might be number 7, sir.
It's not might be. It is. It is, Sunny. So VII, it's number 7. Yeah, absolutely. A part of human history. My paraphrase wasn't accurate enough. I said a piece of our past, but I could say a piece of our past and present. Right?
Yeah.
Because a part of human history doesn't just mean past history, it also means present history, right? So that's why we have to be careful with our paraphrases as well, right? But definitely this one, a part of human history, is the best answer. And you have to remember that in IELTS, it's not the okay answer, it's the best answer that you have to choose. And a part of human history covers all of the content of the introduction of the past, the present, and the reason why these buildings are so important. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the easiest way, Sunny, is if you look at your answer, if you say importance of tallest buildings past and present, this is definitely equal to a part of human history.
Yeah.
Do you see how that is somewhat equal to that? It's much more accurate than the other choices. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So this is why it's a really great example of why skimming and scanning doesn't work. And you have to, in the IELTS, especially the academic IELTS, you really have to use your own thinking, your own logic to get all the answers correct. The biggest mistake, Sunny, in the IELTS exam, in the reading section especially, is that students think that the exam will give the answers to them. No, it has the answers, but it's your brain that's going to give you the answer, the correct answer. Do you understand what I mean by that, Sunny?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why it's the academic, right? That's why, like, people are, sometimes we get these emails or these comments on YouTube, like, is IELTS supposed to be testing my English, or is it actually testing how much I learned in school? Do you know what the correct answer to that question is, Sunny?
Yes.
What's the correct?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't get.
Yeah,
I couldn't get that.
Yeah, so like I say, a lot of times students, they send us comments in this kind of almost like a cynical way or like a surprised way, like, oh, is the IELTS exam supposed to test our English, or is it supposed to test how much I learned in school? And they're kind of surprised, so they ask this question like it's a strange question, but it's actually a very normal question. Do you know what the answer to that question is, Sunny?
Actually, it is testing both, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's in the title, academic IELTS exam, right? It's just that schools and people forget to focus on that part of it where it's actually testing your academic skills, right? So it's testing your ability to reason, to infer, to interpret information. So it's testing all of those. And for those candidates who want to get that 7, 8, 9, you have to practice both the English part and the thinking part of the exam, right? And a lot of people forget about the thinking part. They just think about the English part. So again, Sunny, you've got the right idea. Make sure to practice this, right? And never, like, as soon as you think, oh, it's only part of the answer, then it's probably the wrong answer if it's only part of the answer that you gave, okay?
Okay, sir.
So you'll find a better one. All right, Sunny, thank you for being my first volunteer. And you know what, Sunny, you probably had the most challenging question in this set. So good for you for giving it a valiant effort. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Sunny. Everybody give Sunny a thumbs up. That was really good. Okay, so Sunny, it was a tough one. Okay, all right, let's take another person here. So we have Amit. Let's see if Amit is still here. Amit, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir, I just did. Can you hear me?
I can, Amit. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. All right, Amit, same idea. So we're going to do the list of headings. Now we're visualizing too, right? So in the beginning, when Sunny was reading, we should have kind of seen these ancient buildings, new buildings that are really tall and high, like the pyramids. We should have seen, and we should have seen maybe the Colosseum of Rome, and then we should have seen the Burj Khalifa. Now we're into part B. So when you're ready, just read B, paragraph B.
Okay, sir. I'll start now.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient Egyptians believed that to be closer to the sky was to be closer to the realm of the gods and afterlife. While regular Egyptians had to settle for burial in the ground, the pharaohs got to be entombed much closer to the sky in purpose-built pyramids, the world's first truly high structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built in approximately 2560 BCE for the burial of the pharaoh Khufu, reaching a height of 481 feet at the time of construction. The Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years.
Okay, fantastic. Now, when you're reading at that speed is enough to finish the passage and all the questions in 20 minutes, okay? So if you feel like you're not finishing the passage, it's not your reading speed that needs focus, it's the comprehension that needs focus, okay? So that's what we're working on right now. So again, same thing, figure out list of headings. You ask yourself, what is this paragraph about? Now, when you're at home and you're doing this, you should literally like verbalize. You should actually say it loud. What is body paragraph 1 about? What is it about?
I think it's about the purpose of building higher, taller construction in the Egyptian era.
Okay. Yeah, kind of. Can you give me a simpler answer? Simplify it. So what is this body paragraph 1 about? In a really simple way.
I think the purpose, why they build taller buildings.
Not just. I mean, okay, let me kind of read the beginning of this, and then hopefully you'll get a better idea. So ancient Egyptians believed that to be closer to the sky was to be closer to the realm of the gods in afterlife. And oftentimes this topic sentence might give you the right list of headings, but not always. And in this case, it's not true. Let me keep reading. While regular Egyptians had to settle for burial in the ground, the pharaohs got to be entombed much closer to the sky in purpose-built pyramids, the world's first truly high structures. What is this paragraph about?
First high structure.
Which is?
The pyramid.
Okay, right. All right. So if I ask you again, what is this body paragraph about? Then you will say it is about?
The pyramid. The Great Pyramid.
The pyramids. The first truly high structures, right? Correct? That would be the simplest way. So that would be the most accurate answer. If this were a multiple choice question, that's the one you'd be looking for, right? Now, find the match. It takes practice to get this. And then once you get it, like a lot of our former students, then they just get it and they go super fast and get really good scores on this. Okay, go ahead and read the choices and tell me which one matches that. The pyramids, the first truly high structures. Which is the best match for that one?
So should I read all the options?
Yeah, you should always read them because you never know which one. It's a good question you just asked me. You should always read them all because you never know which is the best match. And sometimes what students do is they cross them out. Once they choose one, they kind of exit out and they're like, okay, I chose that one, so it's gone. You should not do that because sometimes you realize later that that's actually a much better heading for a different paragraph. So you should always kind of just skim through them. You'll get really fast because by the time you're on paragraph 3, you basically know what they all are. So your eyes just kind of glazing over them. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Yep. So for now, just read all of them.
Okay. Controversial designation, the Industrial Revolution, buildings in space, fast and impressive, the regain of churches, the Strasbourg Cathedral, a part of human history, technology, logistics, and engineering, the industrial acceleration, tall structure of the ancient world, looking towards the future.
And the answer?
The answer is second last.
That's the Roman 10, and it's actually given for you. That's what IELTS usually does, is it gives you one of them, usually body paragraph 1 or body paragraph 2. IELTS does not give you the answer for paragraph 1. Do you know why? So it doesn't give it to you for A. It will always give you the example for B or for C, sometimes for D, I've even seen it, but never for A and never for the last one, in this case F. Do you know why IELTS won't give you the answer for those ones, the example?
To test our understanding.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Absolutely, because the first paragraph is the introduction and the last one is the conclusion. And they want to see how well you can comprehend the topic of those paragraphs. And those ones you always need to for sure read the full paragraph to figure out. So they don't want to support or encourage people to just try to skim or scan for words because it's not an effective strategy. And that's one of the reasons that you don't see the example given for A or the conclusion. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Right? So if anybody was ever wondering, like, why aren't they just giving me the example for number 1? That's why they don't give it to you for number 1. They want you to figure out the introduction and conclusion always. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Amit. I appreciate your volunteering. Hang in there to find out the rest of the answers, okay?
Sure, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, that was Amit. Let's give Amit a thumbs up. That was really, really good. All right. Let's take another volunteer here. We've got lots of hands up. Let's give Karem a chance here. Okay, Karem, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, Karem.
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking, other than this cold. Karem, are you ready to read?
Yep.
All right. You should see paragraph C there, which is the second body paragraph. Go ahead and read that one.
It wasn't until the year 1311 CE and the construction of the Lincoln Cathedral in England that the height of the Great Pyramid was surpassed. At 525 feet, it was only slightly taller. Throughout the period from 1311 to 1880, the title of world's tallest building changed hands a number of times through both destruction and construction, but each structure was a European church. Interestingly, the world's tallest building from 1647 to 1874, the Strasbourg Cathedral in France, was actually shorter than the original height of the Great Pyramid. Standing 469 feet, the cathedral was approximately 13 feet taller than the Great Pyramid's contemporary height, which had been reduced 13.5 feet from its original stature by erosion.
All right. So now that we're in the groove, we can be nice and fast. What is this paragraph about?
What is this paragraph about? I think it's about the tall churches in Europe in the past, maybe.
Okay, great. It's about the tall churches in Europe in the past. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a perfect answer. And you know what? I really appreciate how you actually said the question. So people think it's kind of weird or it's unnecessary, but it's actually very necessary. And it was really good that you started with the question. You said, what is this paragraph about? And then you flow into the answer. It's about the tall churches of Europe in the past. Absolutely. Very nice. Pick the title that matches the closest to your thoughts.
Should I read all of them?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, nice and fast. Yep.
A controversial designation. I don't think so. The Industrial Revolution. Not at all. Buildings in space. Fast and impressive. The reign of the church. I think it might be. The Strasbourg Cathedral. I don't think so. It was an example, I think. A part of human history, technology, logistics, and engineering, the industrial acceleration, tall structures of the ancient world looking towards the future. I think it's probably 5.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Okay, very good. Yeah, and so it's the reign of the churches. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
Actually, I didn't know the meaning of the reign, but it says the only church from this.
Very good. Yeah, and exactly. So it's still it's the something of churches. It still looks pretty good. Reign is like the rule or the domination. It's used with kings and queens. The reign of Queen Elizabeth II ended recently with her death, and now it's the reign of King Charles in the UK, right? So it's the reign or the rule. But even though you didn't know that, you felt that, okay, that looks like the right answer. And it was very clever that you said, okay, the Strasbourg Cathedral is just an example. They always do that in the IELTS with list of headings. They put 1 or 2 choices that are examples, and those are always wrong because it's not what it's about. That's just the example given to support it, right? So Roman numeral 5 is the correct answer here. And the way you did that, okay, so listen up, everybody. The way that the reading, the asking the question, the answering, the choosing, that was a perfect example of the strategy that you need to do to get these questions correct. So thank you for that. That was awesome. Okay, Kerem?
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to do. Okay, as long as you're doing that, you're golden. You're going to get a lot of these questions right, okay?
Yes.
So thank you, Kerem. Stay tuned for the rest of the answers, okay?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for volunteering, Kerem. All right, that was Kerem. Kerem is also a member, I believe, and that was really great. Let's give Kerem a thumbs up. Always encourage each other, everybody. Okay, let's take somebody else. Let's take Anna. Hi, Anna. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
How are you doing, Anna?
Hello. I'm doing good, watching, listening to you on Zoom and watching what happens on YouTube.
You're enjoying the lesson. You're enjoying life. That's great, Anna.
Yeah, like in 2 format.
And it's kind of a fun topic. I don't know, but for me, these tall buildings have always been a point of curiosity. And I'll be honest with you, if I had the time, the money, I would definitely fly over to Dubai and check out the Burj Khalifa. It's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's interesting topic because of value of architecture and historical value as well, like how it's preserves and yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. These tall buildings are a crucial part of our identity as humanity, for sure. I agree with you. Okay, Anna, go for it. Read paragraph D when you're ready.
Yes, 1848 marked the first time the world's tallest building stood in North America. The Washington Monument, standing 555 feet in Washington D.C., is also the world's tallest obelisk and tallest all-stone structure. During this period, engineers and architects were reaping the fruit of the 19th century Industrial Revolution, which led to accelerating advance in construction, engineering, and technology. In 1880, just a minute, it's advertisement comes. Just 1 second. YouTube has advertisement, and it's okay. In advice to accelerating advances in construction, engineering, and technology. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower was completed and stood as the world's tallest building at 986 feet for over 40 years.
Okay, very good. All right, reading is quite good, Anna. Definitely practice a little bit on the numbers. Can you repeat after me? 1884.
1884.
555 feet.
555 feet.
19th century.
19th century.
1889.
1889.
986 feet.
And 989 feet.
986 feet.
986 feet.
40 years.
40 years.
Okay, what is this paragraph about?
I think it's a paragraph about the logistic advancement in technology and engineering.
Okay, so let's simplify that. The advancements.
The advancement, yeah, it was revolution in the advancement of technology.
The advancements in technology doing what?
Doing
So what?
architecture.
Okay, exact. Sure. That was fine. Like you can like, well, do architect? Yeah. So
Like,
your brain.
In technology, it was like
Anna, that was really good. Your brain kind of gave you the answer before your mouth had a chance to have the discussion with your brain. So the advancements in technology in architecture, sure. Yeah, I think that was perfect. Yeah. See, so the brain is really good. It has a really good autopilot when it has the right instructions. So when the brain knows what it's supposed to do, it can do it by itself, right? So advancements in technology in architecture in that time, right? So in the 19th century, I would probably add as well, right? Okay, so which list of heading best matches that? So this advancements in technology and construction in this time period.
like I think technology, logistic, and engineering. It could be.
I don't. I think that's still just a piece, right? That's one of those traps, and it's an easy one to fall into.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's an
really...
example. Then it's industrial revolution. Industrial revolution.
That's also just a piece. That's another trap, Anna. If you put the two together, you'll find the correct answer. And this is why you want to go through all of them. So, you know, your three predecessors kept asking me, like, should I read all of them?
The industrial acceleration, something 9.
It is. And this is a perfect example of why you should go through all of them each time. Because here, Anna, right, if you go through all of them, first you'll be like, oh, it's the Industrial Revolution. And then you keep reading and reading. And then you go technology, logistics. And you're like, oh, no, that's better. And then you keep going. And then you see the industrial acceleration. And then you're like, wait a second, that's like both of those together. And that's the closest to my answer. Do you see what I'm saying with that?
Yeah, I understand. But for this, I need to deeply understand what the acceleration mean. I have no idea what.
The word, oh, you have to know the word accelerate for sure. And one place where that word is really important is when you're driving a car, right? So when we're driving a car, we'll say accelerate. And I think if you think about that, then you can figure it out. So, so definitely you need to know the word acceleration, or you need to be able to figure it out, right? The gas pedal is often referred to as the accelerator in the car. But you do have to wonder, right? So even if you don't know that word, you have to start kind of thinking like, what could it mean, right? So the correct answer here is 9. It's the most accurate answer, and it's the best answer for this one. So again, I'm going to make an important point here to everybody. You definitely want to go through all of the choices for every single one of these paragraphs. And again, you'll be pretty quick. So by the time you get to paragraph C or D, you've read them 2 or 3 times. You'll be pretty quick going through them, but you still need to go through them to make sure that you're not getting tricked by some of these answers like technology, logistics, and engineering. Does that make sense, Anna?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much for volunteering. Your reading is good. Definitely work a little bit on numbers so it doesn't stop your comprehension or your coherence while you read, okay?
Yes, thank you. Every evening I read loudly before going to bed.
That's great practice. That's great. And it will reward you. So just keep doing it, okay, Anna?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to be a volunteer.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Bye, Anna.
Bye.
All right, that was Anna. She's very studious and she's very hardworking. And that will lead to great rewards. So thumbs up. We're going to have multiple choice questions, Manisha, in a little bit here. So let's take the next volunteer here. We had a couple of gents. We had one lady. Let's take another lady, I think Lorraine. Here we go. Lorraine, if you're there, can you unmute yourself? And let me just admit all the people who are waiting in the chat room. Hi, Lorraine.
Hello, Adrian. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. How are you, Lorraine?
I'm good. I always have problems with my Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, it's technology, right? So, but Zoom seems to be the most stable. All right.
Yes.
Lorraine, paragraph E, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Paragraph E. So, your head is covering the rest of the
You can
paragraph.
say it, Lorraine. Your big fat head is in the way. Not a problem. All right. Lorraine, go for it. It should be okay now.
Okay. The designation of world's tallest building returned to the United States in 1932 with the construction of the 1,250-foot Empire State Building in New York City. One of the incredible architectural achievements of the 20th century, it was completed in just over a year. An astonishing pace, the first building in the world to boast over 100 stories. The Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest for 36 years.
All right, Lorraine, what is this paragraph about?
It is about the architectural achievements, the quickest time it was completed, I think.
Okay, in a very, I agree with you. So I do think those are some key elements. How can we say that in a very concise way? So this, I would say this in just 3. So if you ask me like, Adrian, what is this paragraph about? I would say it in 1, 2, 3, 4 words probably. I would say the amazing How would you say it, Lorraine? In a very simple way. This paragraph is about the amazing or astonishing.
The amazing completion of.
Okay, yeah. The amazing completion of the.
Empire
State Building, right? In New York.
Okay.
Right? So simple thoughts. When you're, and it's, so when I say simple, I think sometimes people misunderstand that as easy. Simple and easy are not the same. In fact, ironically, simple has often been the most difficult challenge for humans throughout history. We always look at situations far too complicated, and that creates a lot of problems. And then when we realize the simple solutions, we're like, why didn't we see that? Or why didn't we see that? So simple is not easy, but that's what we need to go for here. So simply, this paragraph is about the amazing or astonishing construction of the Empire State Building. Would you agree with me on that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. Yeah. It's easy for us as humans, and this is a very common human characteristic, to get lost in details and overcomplicate situations. So we want to train ourselves for exams to get away from that and really just see the simplicity of the ideas. Which answer is the closest to that one? So the astonishing or amazing construction of the Empire State Building. One of these is going to match that pretty close.
Okay, should I read all the answers or just okay?
Yeah, no, go from the top.
A controversial designation, the Industrial Revolution, buildings in space. Okay, it could be fast and impressive. The reign of the churches, the Stratos Cathedral, a part of the human history, technology, logistics, and engineering, the industrial acceleration. Looking towards the future. I think it's fast and impressive.
And you get it correct. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right answer. The missing or the implied element there is fast and impressive Empire State Building. But they don't need to put that in there because that's intrinsic to that title. Do you see what I mean? So if I gave that paragraph just the title fast and impressive, it's clear that we're talking about the Empire State Building, right? So it doesn't need to be mentioned. It's just fast and impressive. That's exactly what that paragraph should be titled. And again, so that's the simplest, most elegant title that we can give that paragraph, and it will match, right? So when you say the amazing or the astonishing, astonishing, they're synonyms for impressive. Right? So impressive is astonishing. Impressive is amazing. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, and the fastest completion, it's quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all there. So that's what it is. So Lorraine, that's the trick. That's the strategy to getting these questions correct. And we've had lots of students in the past who say list of headings is terrible, true, false, not given, multiple choice are terrible. But what's interesting is once you understand the right strategy and you practice it, so many of these students come back and say, oh my gosh, now I get almost all of them correct every time, right? I just didn't have the right approach. So this is what you want to do. Okay, Lorraine?
Okay. Thank you, Adrian.
You're very, very welcome. And I'll try to keep my big head out of the picture for you. All right? Bye, Lorraine.
Okay, bye. Thank you so much.
All right. That was Lorraine. Let's give her a thumbs up. Let's take another volunteer. So again, students, if you want to volunteer, just put your hands up. And if you're new, don't be shy, okay? Use the interaction button. Again, I think for many people, they don't know this, but you just use this little reactions button and then raise your hand so I know that you want to read, okay? And then I'll let you read. All right, Khan, can you unmute yourself and interact with me?
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Khan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Khan, whenever you're ready, go ahead and read F for us, please.
Okay. After domination by Egypt, Western Europe, and the United States, 1975 saw Toronto's Canada's CN Tower still await the designation of the world's tallest, with a height of 1,015 feet. Over a third of a mile high, the CN Tower was the world's tallest for 32 years. This designation is disputed by some academics as they believe a building must be inhabited or be worked in order to count as a building. The CN Tower is neither worked in nor lived in, though it does have an observation deck. So, while it was ambiguously the world's tallest structure during this period, opinions differ on whether it was the world's tallest building. 2007 clarified any debate that were concerning about the designation with the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It became undoubtedly the world's tallest structure and building, standing 2,022 feet, precisely 50% higher than the CN Tower. The Burj Khalifa soars over half a mile into the sky.
All right. Khan, what is this paragraph about?
I think that this paragraph is about I'm not really sure, but I think it's about the debatable title between a structure or a building.
I love that answer. It's a great answer. Be confident in yourself. Yeah, and it gives an example for each one. It gives an example for a structure versus for a building. What's the example given for the structure?
It's the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the example given for the building?
It's the Burj Khalifa.
Exactly, right? And it's comparing those, and it's saying one is this, the other is this. People argue or debate about it. Sure. So I think you've got a very good answer there. Go ahead and pick the closest match from the possible choices. Excuse me.
I think that it's the first one.
Yeah, so after we read all of them, you will say, okay, just read it for everybody, which one it is.
A controversial designation.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't see the word controversial in the paragraph. That's paraphrased, right? But that means like debatable or argued about, right? So it's I. There's no question about that. It's definitely I. Yeah, it's about this argument of whether it's really a building or just a structure. Okay, that was textbook. That's exactly how you solve these questions. Okay? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. As long as you're going through the steps. One important tip that I can give you here, Khan, is be confident. So I think you had all the right ideas based on the answers you gave me. So don't doubt yourself. When you have good ideas, then be confident. Be like, yeah, okay, it's about this debate. An example is given for each, this for this for that, and it's the argument. You've got the right answer. Now you just have to find the right choice. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Khan, thank you so much.
Thanks to you too. Bye.
Bye, Khan. All right. That was Khan. Really good reading, really good logic. When you have good reading, when you have good logic, when you understand the words, be confident, okay? Choose confidently. Don't waste time. Thumbs up, Khan. That was really good. I'll give you a thumbs up here too. All right. One more paragraph to go. Let's do it. Goulet just joined. Let's ask Goulet to read the last paragraph here. Goulet, you're in. Can you hear me?
Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Goulet. How are you?
I am a little bit excited. Thank you having me.
Good. Absolutely. I'm happy to have you here. All right, Goulet, you've got a little tiny paragraph here. It's the conclusion, paragraph G. When you see it, go ahead and read it for us, please.
Okay. I still cannot see because of, I think.
It's the delay. It'll be there in about a second. You should see. Where do we go from here?
Maybe I should start YouTube again.
If it's frozen, then I see. Yeah, just do a refresh on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I think you. G. Okay. Where do we go from here? What heights will buildings of the future reach? Will we one day construct buildings that reach into space? While the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings may no longer be proximity to the gods, the desire to touch the sky with our creations remains.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, some nice language in there. Impetus means like the desire. Okay. And it's paraphrased because you see the word desire. The desire to touch the sky is there. So it's like the motivation and the desire. So what is this paragraph about?
It's like cross the limits. How can we go forward about construction?
Okay, Goulet, the trick is don't try to answer a question with a question. So if you say, how can we go forward with construction? It's okay to think about that first, but instead of using a question to answer the question, try to think about that as a statement. It will help you to be more accurate and to find the correct choice easier. So think about it as a statement.
Okay, next step of constructing. Next level.
Yeah, okay, so sure, the next steps are the next level of constructing what?
About buildings, about sky buildings.
Yeah, so the next steps of constructing taller buildings, right?
Taller buildings, yeah.
Yeah, so keep it simple, Goulet. Remember what I said earlier. Simple's not easy, but that's what you want. Next steps of constructing taller buildings. Yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of what the conclusion is saying, that, hey, we did this in the past and it's probably going to continue in the future. So you should see the choices come up on the screen in just a second. Let me know which one you think is the best match for that. So the next steps for constructing these taller buildings.
Looking towards the future.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's Roman numeral 11, looking towards the future, right?
Yeah.
It's the closest match. I agree 100%. That's what the conclusion is saying, is that we just talked about the past and the present of these tall buildings, and let's look towards the future. For sure, that will happen. Goulet, what is your prediction? Which country, which city is going to build the next biggest building in the world? What do you think?
Maybe Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, because in Azerbaijan also we have tall buildings.
Yeah, ambitious. All right. Well, maybe it will be Baku. We'll all remember that if that happens. So who knows? Maybe Baku. All right. Thank you so much, Goulet, for reading. That was really good. We're going to go to the true, false, not given questions now. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get you to do a yes, no, not given. Were you here at the beginning of the class? Did you see the first part of the reading?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
All right, then let's transition to the yes, no, not given. You should see them on the screen. So yes, if it agrees with the passage or if it's confirmed by the passage and the author. No, if it's the opposite or if they say it's not. And not given if we don't know based on the passage. So whenever you're ready, read number 7.
Well, the Great Pyramid was the world's tallest building for over 4,000 years.
Okay, before we answer that as a yes or a no or not given, let's just go through the proper steps for logic here. For this passage, the world's tallest building, and if I'm not here, the inner Adrian in your head should be talking like this, or the inner Goulet should be talking like this. For this passage, the world's battle for the world's tallest building, is it important to know this information about the Great Pyramid and how long it was the world's tallest structure? Would that be a piece of information that's important for this topic?
It can be information because...
Yeah, it can be. Absolutely, right? I agree. You don't need to explain any further. Just it can be, or it could be, for sure, is enough. Because from that, you've now figured out that most likely it's given. There's a very good chance that it's given. Okay? Now you just need to figure out if it's true or not. And this you probably already have in your head. You might not even need to read the passage for this. Is it true that the Great Pyramid was the world's tallest building for over 4,000 years?
I think yes, it's true, as I remember.
Yeah, so you would mark Y for yes, and then just move on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now if we were stuck and I wanted to check, I could skim read for 4,000 years. It's a little bit risky because they might say 4 millennia, or they might say it in a different way from this year to this year. But if I can, for the first ones, it might be something that I can search for. So here it says the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. Okay, so I'm just confirming my answer here. Okay, can you read that?
The Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years.
Okay.
This is the same.
Wait, don't rush. Now read number 7.
The Great Pyramid was the world's tallest building for over 4,000 years. Okay, it's over 4,000 years, but in the passage it were 4, as if I'm not mistaken, it were 4,000 years.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You're noticing that there's some strange difference here, right?
Yeah.
So it says
almost. Yeah.
So is it the same?
No, it's not the same.
So the correct answer then is?
No. False.
Right, it's a tricky one. Sometimes these are really sneaky, and that's why if you have time, it's worth checking. Okay, so if you have time, it is worth checking just to make sure that your answer is correct. But if you're running out of time, I personally wouldn't check that one. I would just get it wrong, but that's okay because 80% of the time you would get it right. So if you're running out of time, don't check. But if you have time, then you might want to look for that, okay? And you really have to pay attention to details in the IELTS, especially the academic, okay? Over as opposed to almost is not the same. Tricky, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So, but the first step, figuring out that it is given, was very important, right? So, you just have to really pay attention to those details. Goulet, thank you so much for reading and helping with those questions. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Bye, Goulet.
Bye.
Thumbs up for Goulet. That was tricky, right? So again, it's challenging to get that perfect band 9, but if you do want that band 9, then you do have to be fairly quick, and you should be able to check some of these answers to make sure that they're correct. Okay, that was a tricky one. All right, everybody. Let's have one more volunteer. So let's go for, let's see, is somebody there who hasn't. Okay, I'm going to admit Carolina Ulukan Alexander. Somebody want to volunteer who hasn't gone yet? That would be great. Just raise your hand so that I know you want to volunteer. Okay, we've had SC and Sami Parno and Goulet and Lorraine. So I'm just going to see if somebody, it's just going to be, we're going to do another one of these yes, no, not given, and we'll do a multiple choice question as well. Okay, Alexander, if you can unmute yourself. Alexander, are you there? Hi, Alexander.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
As good as it can be.
Nice. You learned that phrase. That is correct. That's how you say it. As good as can be. A little bit faster. As good as can be. As good as can be.
As good as can be. As good as can be.
Exactly. That's one of those phrases that native speakers will say super fast. They'll go, as good as can be. As good as can be. All right. Alexander, can you read number 8 for us, please?
Erosion caused the Strasbourg Cathedral to lose some of its height.
Okay. First question.
Yeah.
Is that important to know for the passage?
First of all, it's wrong. It's false.
Why do you say that?
Because in the text it was mentioned that Egypt pyramid was lost some of its height, not Strasbourg Cathedral, as far as I remember.
You're correct. That's true. But does that mean that erosion caused the Strasbourg Cathedral to lose some of its height?
Yes, it's not given in this case.
Aha! Yeah, right?
Right,
Alexander, can
right,
you
right.
explain to everybody why that is? So that's the correct answer. Can you explain to everybody why false is not the right answer? So here, again, saying no or false would be, just like you did, would be the first instinct for a lot of people.
Exactly.
But then, according to academics, right, according to a university professor, they would say, no, right? It's not given.
Yeah.
What's
I heard it's called a red herring, right? Like some kind of special strap for
it's
student.
well, it's not that it's so they don't mean to trap you. Their goal isn't to like, haha, we got him, we got Alexander, we fooled him. So no, that's not what the like they're not. It's not an evil cabal at the IELTS. They're not like so that's not the goal. But what they want to do is they want to make sure that candidates, especially for band 9, when they're going into master's, PhD, they're using exceptional logic and rational thinking, right? So just because the passage says that it's the pyramid that lost its height due to erosion doesn't necessarily mean that the Strasbourg Cathedral didn't lose some of its height. In fact, we could easily imagine that it did, right? Because they have those sharp, pointy towers, and those could easily break or become shorter. So it doesn't mean that didn't lose it. It just means that it's not mentioned, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right? So we have to be really careful with what's called flawed logic, right? Where one does not necessarily equal the other. X does not equal Y in math, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the trick. Yeah, you got to be really careful with those ones. All right, let's. So I'm going to leave the other two, true, false, not given, and just give a taste of the multiple choice here. Number 11. Can you read that one for me, Alexander, without reading the choices?
What was the world's tallest building in 1960?
Okay, to your best recollection, Alexander, what was it at that time in 1960? If you had to kind of guess. Because we went through a lot of buildings. Definitely not the pyramids, right? That was a long time ago. Not the churches, because that was more during the 19th century. There were a couple of buildings that were mentioned for the 20th century. What were the buildings that you remember mentioned for the 20th century, mid 20th century?
Presumably it was Eiffel Tower.
So Eiffel Tower, maybe, right? What were the other
Empire State Building.
Empire State Building. What was another one that's been around for a while now?
CN Tower.
Okay, so one of those three, right? So as long as one of those three comes to your mind, right, then you can kind of look and figure out what is what. And if you have to go back to the passage, you can go, okay, well, let's check out the Eiffel Tower, right? That was somewhere in the beginning. Here it is. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower was completed and stood as the world's tallest for 40 years. 40 years takes us up to 1930. So Eiffel Tower, no, right?
Okay.
All right, so then you said Empire State Building. So 1932 constructed the Empire State Building. Okay. And it stood as the tallest for 36 years. So do a little bit of math here. 1932 plus 36 is
1968, right?
1968.
Yeah.
Would that then match for this question?
Right.
Absolutely. Right.
Moreover, I made the note that Toronto CN Tower had been built in 1975.
Exactly. There you go. Right.
Yeah, right.
So trust your notes. So the correct answer then is
Empire State Building. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And see here, the issue is if somebody's searching for 1960, they're going to get really frustrated because that number does not appear in the passage. There's numbers around it. And if somebody's just trying to skim or scan for 1960, they're going to waste a lot of time and frustration on that question, right?
Right.
So the answer for multiple choice has to come from our own understanding of the passage first. Alexander, thank you for helping me with those two tricky questions.
Thank you, Adrian, for having me, for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Alexander,
have a nice day.
Rest of your day. You too. Bye, Alexander.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, that was Alexander. Let's give Alexander a thumbs up. I'm sending you a thumbs up. Alexander, that was really good. So multiple choice, everybody, last tip of the day. You figure those out by answering on your own first, using your own logic, and then referencing the passage. One of the most common mistakes with multiple choice is people think the answer will just jump out at them. It doesn't work like that, everybody. All right, the rest of those multiple choice questions and true, false, not given questions, you can do when you have a bit of time in the day. You can send the answers to me, either to Adrian at aehelp.com or admin at aehelp.com, and I'll give you the answer key for the rest of those. Just make sure to use the strategies that you saw today. Tomorrow, everybody, I'm back with speaking part 1. We'll use Zoom for that too. We'll actually have a chance to discuss and answer speaking questions. I will give you band score estimates and tips on how to improve. If you like this class, join the premium version at aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com. If you're an academic IELTS student, go to aehelp.com, which looks like this, and join by clicking the big red button. If you're a general IELTS student, go to gieltshelp.com and click the big red button there. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating. I saw that you helped a lot of people with their questions and encouraged everybody. It's so great that we have Carolina helping us. Thank you, members, Redexar, Epsilinator, Anna, and thank you, viewers, for being with me today. Again, this passage came from our website. It's Exam 6, Passage 1. If you want to follow up on that, to get all of our exams, go to aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com, register for the full version. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. But again, I'll be back tomorrow with more IELTS tips, strategies for the speaking section. Bye, everybody.